I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
But in the kingdom, we're going to have that power like the angels, but we're going to be what you call extraterrestrial. In other words, we're not going to be regular terrestrial like we are right now. Because what happened is, in the ancient world, we had that power. We had that power when we were on a level like gods. But what happened is, the Most High took that power from us. Over the generations and over the years, the Lord took that power from us. But we're going to get that back. We're going to get that power back coming into the kingdom.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
When we think about the kingdom, most brothers think of like the small, minute terms. But the vastness of the kingdom, the greatness of the kingdom, dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the information alone that we're going to receive when we get to the kingdom, that's on a whole nother level. Never mind the riches and the lands and the women and the children, and to be in your chariot, sipping some yayan, on your chalice, your gold chalice with all them rubies and emeralds and sapphires and the different precious stones, going to places.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
No one, no matter how vivid a brother's imagination is, there's nothing in comparison to what's coming. You can't even imagine. You can't even paint into picture or write into words or give an explanation that even comes close to the majesty that's coming. We are destined for greatness in the new righteous kingdom.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
The brother with the most vivid imagination out there can't imagine what the kingdom of heaven has in store, what it's going to be like. What we're basing the kingdom of heaven as far as riches and having a good time and things of that nature is just based off of our experiences in this world and what we think having a good time is and living the life is. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. There are pleasures forevermore at thy right hand. So the kingdom that's coming is going to be set up and established in righteousness. The Israelites are going to be changed. Thy people shall be all righteous. Not one Israelite is going to be lost, because the promise that the Most High made to Abraham was to all that seed. And the seed of the promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Every seed that came out of Jacob is a part of the ones that are going to receive the benefits that the Most High promised to blessed Abraham.
The transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down. According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, so what we're going to get into today in the morning news and prophecy, going into how there's a global shift, okay, to technocracy, okay, and that's the style of government, all right, that's going to govern, you know, this new world order, you know, so expect a lot, you know, the spirit, you know, having me, having brothers in general, you know, but just getting into technocracy and what it means, all right, and the components of it, you know, because as the scriptures say, you know, be not ignorant, you know, in the small thing or great, you know, and that we shouldn't be ignorant to what Satan's devices, you know, his schemes, his techniques, okay, his formulas, and how this devil, you know, get down, all right, within this new world order system, okay, that he's rolling out real time, okay, and that's why everyone, you know, he's pushing, you know, heavy distractions, you know, with this whole, you know, Epstein thing, okay, because it keeps people arguing and, you know, he keep dangling these files in your face. But long story short, all them niggas nasty, man. All right, Republican, Democrat, Congress, Senate, Supreme judges, city councils, you know, state judges, whatever you can think, all them niggas nasty, man. Okay, this is the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, and the higher up you go, all right, the more lewdness you're exposed to. Okay, so you ain't gotta dangle this file, you know, and that's matter of fact. Let's get this real. If a brother can post it, Baba Shah, I'm gonna set this video. Brother can post the book of St. John chapter 8 verse 12. St. John chapter 8 verse 12. So let's go here. The video I want to get into. All right, and then we'll go into the chat. Okay, it said, why is Trump in bed with big tech? You know, because like we went over yesterday, Trump is just a bridge, okay, from democracy to technocracy. Okay, this is what this devil has been appointed to do. All right, and he's the perfect character, okay, to keep you people distracted, keep you people divided. You know, because he's, you know, controversial. Okay, which is all an act. He's an actor. You know, and they need a controversial. All right, a character that can draw out controversy. All right, they can draw out distractions. Okay, while they roll out this NWO. Okay, because he's to the point now, he's just getting up there saying any goddamn thing. All right, all for the sake of distraction. So let's get these two precepts the brothers got, and then we'll play this, and then we'll show you, okay, how Trump, all right, since day one, has done nothing but the only people that have benefited, okay, is the technocrats in these 11 months, okay, of his presidency, the only thing that has benefited, all right, is technocracy, man. Okay, so let's go here. This is the brother, the hopeful elect, remnant 144, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Is at least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. You know, so we're not ignorant of the devices, okay, of Satan, of this devil. Okay, we know how he gets down. Okay, we know that the majority of the things that he's pushing out, you know, in the mainstream is a distraction from what he's really doing. Okay, we know that none of them are right. All right, we know that you know, he has no intent, okay, on being beneficial to the people. Okay, he has no intent on doing right. All right, everything that he presents, okay, is folly, man, is wickedness, man. Okay, so read this in the book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 12 said, Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life, man. And see, the water, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, for being able to walk in the light, man. Okay, because you have people that are just tossed to and fro all over the place between Republican, Democrat, uh, you know, capitalism, socialism, and you know, all these different isms. Okay, but it's all Satanism and it's all leading to technocracy, man. Okay, well, people are all over the place, man, and this devil, you know, is doing nothing but major psyops, man, to have people distracted in fear. Okay, false hope. Okay, but it's all keeping people in the dark to what's really going on. But see, Yahweh Shai, we can see everything clearly through Yahweh Shai. All right, understand the scriptures. All right, paints a clear picture of what's really going on. All right, to where we're telling this devil what he has to do, what he's going to do next. Okay, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai has it to where we're telling these devils what they're going to do next, man. They have to do it. Okay, he has to bring in this sea hip. He has to bring in the chaos, the persecution of the prophets, man. Okay, the famine of the word. He has to do these things. Okay, so being in Yahweh Shai, which is the volume of the book, keeps us in the light, man. All right, to where they can't say and do anything, and we be all over the place, man. You know, and to Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai for their light. Okay, so let's go here. Let's play this a little quick. And then we're gonna go to a chat. Then we got some more videos. But let's play this. All right, concerning with Trump's. All right, rolling. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, he was a great scholar. I'm just trying to put everything together in the current context, though. So we don't quite understand what role Putin is playing, but the Chinese are in on it.
You're right.
But what about Trump? What role is he playing? Does he understand what's going on, or is he just enamored with the support from big tech, and he's going along with whatever they want?
That's a good question. Honest, I cannot answer this question without bias at this point. I voted for Trump, and I said when I did, I said to all my readers and stuff, I'm gonna vote for Trump, but when he gets elected, I'm gonna vote with my nose kind of pinched, and then if he doesn't toe the line, I'm going to attack him mercilessly. So that's kind of where I am right now. But it's, you know, this whole technocratic takeover of Washington, D.C. at this point, it's irrelevant whether Trump is really like, is he the cheerleader of the whole thing? Is he the orchestrator, perhaps, or the architect? I don't think he doesn't have the brain to be the architect of this whole thing. In fact, we know who the architects are. But at this point, he's going along with it, and this technocrat cabal that's taken over Washington D.C., top to bottom, they've amassed more power to themselves. That this is power that Trump doesn't have at this point. He might have had it before the election, maybe the day after, but when he ceded control to these arch technocrats, he lost it at that point. Where and maybe he's complicit, maybe he's not. But we have to remember, this is not a political fight.
Yeah, man. So he's all right, basically saying, look, from day one when Trump got in office, all right, the technocrats moved that nigga out the way and told that nigga, look, this the play. Okay, and he and he knew it before he got into office what the play was, what he was assigned to do. Okay, and like I say, it's not political. Okay, they want you to be arguing over the left and right. Okay, while they roll out the technocracy. Okay, so while you're distracted, you still distracted by this whole false left right paradigm. Okay, and this character of Trump, they're rolling out nothing but pro AI, all right, and pro technocrat, okay, policies, man. Okay, so when you go to here, all right, so you ask the chat, okay, let's see. So you ask the chat, I said, list of Trump's AI friendly policies, and could this be a groundwork for a technocracy style government? Okay, so when you go into it, okay, it says Trump's known, all right, AI friendly policies 2024-2025. It said deregulation of AI development. Trump has repeatedly emphasized reducing federal regulation on emerging technologies, including AI, to accelerate, use AI innovation, and maintain global competitiveness, especially against China. And even that whole false, competition with China. All right, they're not in competition. Okay, that's just an excuse, all right, to deregulate AI in America. Okay, because China, all right, has a lot of this technology from America. Now, China is good at re-engineering, reverse engineering, okay, and being innovative with, American technology. Okay, but China got this jump, is boosting technology from American technology. Okay. And it says support for losing regulatory hurdles for AI companies, opposition to what he describes as Biden AI bureaucracy, preference for industry-led standards rather than federal oversight. Okay. Because what this devil, Trump is doing now, he's removing states to have any say so in AI. See, in the big beautiful bill, okay, well, in that bill, it's going to uh, disarm states, all right, to have any regulations or say so dealing with AI. So you can go complain to your state, okay, about these data centers and the water, okay, bill, the light bill going up, water pressure low, it's just damaging to the environment. You can go complain to the state, but the state won't be able to do anything. Okay, so they're stripping all the states from power when it comes to what AI advancement. Okay, and this is all under Trump. This is what he's doing. Okay, this is who benefiting from Trump's presidency is the technocracy. That's it. Okay, even if he give you nigga a $10,000 check, that still doesn't make up for how you've been getting shammed, all right, for decades. Okay, with this economy, man. All right, it says Trump has framed the U.S. tech sector, especially AI, chips, cloud, and defense tech, as a central engine of national power, encouragement of public-private partnerships in defense AI, and this whole public-private thing. All right, where you suppose these private, like SpaceX supposed to be a private business and it's partnering with the government, okay, with certain defense contracts, and SpaceX is a government entity. Okay, we went over there yesterday. Okay, and everything that Elon Musk has, all those Tesla, those are government cars. Okay, with all the technology in there, that's military technology. That's why those cars are so, high tech. Okay, because they're military cars, man. Okay, and it's gonna be used for a control grid. You see, it says emphasis on U.S. made chips, GPUs, and domestic AI compute. Call for a national AI and chip manufacturing renaissance. Okay, so he called for an AI renaissance, man. You see, it said Trump and his advisors have promoted rapid adoption of AI for national defense. Likely policies includes, okay, expanding AI and intelligence, cyber technology, and military system, prioritizing AI and missile defense, autonomous systems, and threat detection, accelerating acquisition process for defense tech startups. It says several policy advisors close to Trump have argued installing politically loyal leadership in federal tech AI agencies, consolidating technology decision making under the executive branch, okay, which is the branch of the president, and all power is being stripped from the presidents and given to the feds, and all power of the federal is being stripped from uh, the House and the judicial and being forwarded to the executive, which is the presidential branch. Okay, and then the power from the executive is going to the technocrats, man. Okay, we're seeing the power transfer, man. Okay, this is what we're living in, the transfer of powers. All right, to where the public is being fully given over to corporations. Okay, with no government interference or regulations. Okay, matter of fact, let's roll out a new government, which is a technocracy, man. All right, it says more lenient stance toward AI generated political content. Trump has expressed support for allowing AI political ads, okay, as long as they are not used for illegal deception, man. So a lot of things we're finna see, man. You know, that's why there's a lot of things you gotta fact check and, you know, search stuff on TikTok and things. You know, we gotta be mindful, you know, what we repost or respond to, man. You know, because a lot of these things, you know, are gonna be AI generated. You know, this man is bringing a synthetic world. You know, he's trying to, you know, birth a synthetic world, man. You know, well, he's the God. All right. Said Trump has said government agency waste massive amounts of money and hinted at using AI to reduce federal work. All right, automate bureaucratic process, modernize government services. Okay, so expect to see, you know, like I say this, because I think with the food stamps, they're saying you got to reapply now. Okay, and it's a headache to, you know, those people in their department. So what you think the solution going to be? AI. Okay, and what's going to make you compliant with this AI infrastructure, man? All right, they can start off with a digital ID, and then voila, the C-HIP. Okay, it says a technocracy is a system where technical experts, scientists, engineers, AI system make most governmental decisions rather than the elected official. Here's a breakdown. Policies that can move the U.S. towards a more technocrat structure. All right, these dynamics may slightly resemble technocrat, all right, governments, heavy reliance on AI systems in government. If Trump implements large-scale automation of federal system, decision could be increasingly be algorithm driven, data driven, optimized by AI models rather than human deliberation. This is a technocratic, all right, mechanism, even if the government remains politically, okay, controlled. Empowering tech industry leaders, Trump policies favor private AI companies, tech billionaires, defense tech entrepreneurs. This could shift power toward technical elites, which is technocratic in effect. Okay, and this is happening. So he's doing it now. All right, he's transferring democracy to technocracy, man. Okay, you're distracted and, you know, making these memes, and, you know, they're rolling out technocracy, man. Okay, it says centralization of technology governance under the executive branch. If AI policy becomes highly centralized and directed by politically approved experts or advisory boards, they can resemble a technocratic structure, power concentrated among a technical political hybrid elite. And this is what's happening. Okay, everything is trending their way. Matter of fact, I got a quick another quick video I want to show y'all brothers, man. Okay. Let's go here. So they did this today at Kroger. And if a brother could post that in the book of Proverbs, chapter 23. Let's see. Proverbs 23 and 23 and 3, Bob Bashai. Yeah, Proverbs 23 and 3. Okay. And also let's get that in 2 Thessalonians. All right, chapter 2, verses 7, 8, and 9, Bob Bashai. Well, let's play this, man. So they got Kroger doing layoffs, but guess who laid them off? It said today is your last day. Kroger just fired 1,000 using an AI phone call. Let's listen to this, man.
We encourage you to look for opportunities during the next 60 days and be sure to work with your local HR team to help. I truly appreciate all you have done for this site, for your communities, and for our customers. In recognition that this is difficult news, we decided to pause deliveries for the rest of the day and will pay you for your full shift. Operations will resume starting third shift today, November 18th. You will receive a UKG message with your shift start. Again, we want to express our deepest gratitude and express our heartfelt thanks for your dedication and hard work. We are committed to working together and will be here to provide support and resources.
Your workflow is important to us. Please wait indefinitely.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management
during this transition.
That is the phone call that thousands of employees that work for Kroger just received, letting them know that they will be laid off and fired from their job because of shutdowns of many of their facilities around the entire United States. Now, this is just 3 facilities that they did announce. And by all means, guys, I'm going to call one thing out about this entire layoff is that this was an AI automated phone call. Now, imagine you get a phone call.
Goddamn devil, man. All right, so now he's firing niggas through AI. Okay, you get an automated phone call. You out of there. Okay, everybody get the same call, the same nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you can get the cussing. That nigga still gonna be in the same tone. All right, telling your ass is over with. Okay. You see, you hang up, pick up the phone. This nigga still there. All right, the same tone. Pick up where he left off. You know, telling you the same thing. So ain't no more back and forth. You know, you don't even get the pleasure of cussing a nigga out for firing. You know, you don't even get that pleasure anymore. It's AI, nigga. You know, and this is the world that he wants to bring, man, to where AI is your supervisor. Okay, and they're gonna push like AI is gonna work for you. No, you're gonna work for AI. That's who you're gonna answer to. They're already conditioned. That's why when you call these call centers, you have to talk to mostly AI. Okay, they're getting you used to dealing with AI. Okay, let's go here. But see, AI was just this big craze. Everybody just worshiping AI. You had AI guys, the church of AI, and all these. Okay. People just, you just so excited about what AI can do next. Well, this is what AI finna start doing. Okay. AI, you chilling, you kicking it with your family, but AI is doing some computing, and AI come up with the solution like, look, we don't need such and such. We can let go. Boom. We'll win in 2 years. We'll see this much, so we can let them go now. AI call your ass. Okay, get you out of there. All right. It says, this is the brother hopeful elect, Remnant 144, Proverbs 23:3 said, be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. They are deceitful meat. You see, people, love the dainties of this society and this technology and convenience, and but it's deceitful. Okay, AI, the technology is not there to serve you. You're going to serve this technology. All right, you're going to have to adapt, okay, to what AI has calculated. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2:7. This the brother GMS prayer always hopeful elect. All right, the brother Corner Waff. 2 Thessalonians 2:7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, and who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Okay, and this was during the time of pagan Rome under Esau. Okay, so the mystery of iniquity was already in rulership then, but he fell and came back. All right, doing what we call the Renaissance. Okay, and now, all right, this devil, he's on the quest to build a technological, okay, Roman Empire, a technological Tower of Babel. Okay, until he be taken out of the way. All right, so this devil, he's going to keep this way because he's hardened. The Most High has this man hardened to where he's going to continue on this path until he's removed. Okay, it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed. And see, the wicked is revealed. You see, it's your fault for continuing to trust this nigga, man. All this crying and whining and protesting. We told you this nigga is the wicked. Okay, he don't care. All right, he don't care about you starving. He don't care that you can't pay bills. He don't care that you working, all right, 17 hours a day. He don't care. Okay, he don't care that the suicide rate is high. Okay. You see, yeah, he I think they got clinics. Well, it's I know it's in Canada. No, I want to say it's in Canada where they can, they recommend you commit suicide, man. This nigga is the devil, man. You see, they make it funny when you in the know, and you look at people that trust this man. Okay. And it says, and then the wicked shall be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right. And this devil being consumed in the spirit, and this is why, he's fast tracking these things, man. This is why he pushing a bunch of distractions. So he wants to get a lot done because he's been revealed. Okay. The spirit, of Yahweh Shema Shai that's on the prophets is putting pressure on this man. All right. And it's leading up to Yahweh Shai destroying this man in his return. Okay. Verse 9, it says, 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay. So this man is coming after the energy of Satan. Okay. With all these technologies as his signs and lying wonders, man. Okay. Pseudo miracles. Okay. And the masses, all right, have been deceived. Okay. Let's read this, brother God, in the NLT. And it says 2 Thessalonians 2:9 and 10. It says, this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles, man. Yeah, counterfeit. Because it's called artificial intelligence, man. It's not real intelligence. Okay. All right. That's why he has to have these big, huge databases. Okay, because he needs the data of the masses to fuel his AI. Okay, but he'll fool people like AI. Okay, he's just generating these answers out the air. No, they're generating these answers for constantly learning through data. That's why he's so obsessed with data. Okay. It says he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those, okay, on their way to destruction because they refuse to love and accept the truth, all right, that will save them, man. Okay. And they're speaking to you Israelites, man. You know, you constantly trusting this man, all right, and this man is constantly setting you up for failure, man. Okay, that's the look a lot of you gonna have, all right. This little chick, all right, to the left. Okay, that's the look a lot of you gonna have. Okay, trusting this man and this system. So let's go here. All right, because this is what he's unveiling. This is what's happening now. These things are in effect now. Okay. Let's go. I want to play this. Let's play this. All right, and these devils are really pushing, you know, to censor the internet, you know, through what, a digital ID. Okay, so this is the Prime Minister of Spain, him speaking. All right, the World Economic Forum. So let's let this play.
To anonymity on social media. In our countries, no one can walk the streets with a mask on their face or drive a car without a license plate. No one can send packages without showing an ID or buy a hunting weapon without giving their name. And yet, we are allowing people to roam freely on social networks without linking their profiles to a real identity. This paving the way for misinformation, hate speech, and cyber harassment, because it is facilitating the use of bots, and it is allowing people to act without being held accountable for their actions. Such an anomaly cannot continue. In a democracy, citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity, because with those two, social coexistence would be impossible. That is why I believe we must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media, and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet. This way, citizens could use nicknames if they want, but in the case of a crime, public authorities would be able to connect those nicknames to real people and hold them responsible. Because accountability is not an obstacle to freedom of speech, it is an essential complement to it.
Well, many. And I want to because he's pushing for that digital ID. Now I want to show y'all. I don't know if y'all brothers. Let me see if y'all can see this. I don't know if y'all brothers can see that. So sometimes when I try to share, you know, my videos or share out other brothers' videos, it gives me this right here. Okay, which is requirement of some ID. You know, I don't know if y'all brothers be getting that sometime. You know, when y'all try to share out, you know, your videos or you try to share other brothers' videos. Because what it says is it says get advanced features. It said take a 6-second video of yourself, take a photo ID, or build history as you grow. So it's like they're requiring, you know, you to take a picture of yourself. You know, I said, I don't know if y'all get this message or not. You know, when sometimes y'all try to upload videos, but they every now and then, you know, it'll do it, but then as I don't do it, it'll allow me to repost again, you know, but it's like every now and then, like they're trying to see who they can voluntarily get to start signing up, you know, for this, you know. So I don't know if y'all brothers, you know, have seen this yet, you know, but they've been doing this with me for like 2 months, you know, every now and then, you know, either throw this up, you know, come, bro. Yeah, they do me like this all the time, which I know, you know, my channels, I'm heavily shadow banned. You know, I'm heavily shadow banned on YouTube, you know, so but yeah, they've been showing me this for like 2 months now, you know, so they're just letting you know how close we are, all right, to these devils censoring, okay, the internet, you know. That's why you see brothers making channels, terminated. Okay, brothers are heavily, shadow banned. Like I said, they shadow banned me so much that you know, it's almost like I ain't there, But it is what it is. Whoever meant to get it, gonna get it. But just show you that, this is what they pushing to. Okay, this is what these devils are pushing towards, man. So let's get this. Yep, this is the brother Kazakba and Yahweh. Okay, because this digital ID is going to affect, the word. Okay, see, these things are going to have an effect. We're not going to have access to the internet. That's why, as the scriptures say, a brother can get that posted in Romans 13 and 11. Yeah, I think Romans 13, 11, and 12, Baba Kashaf. Okay, I got another video I want to queue up. Just go ahead and have it queued up. I'm get these precepts that brothers got. All right, so this is the book of Amos chapter 8, verse 11. All right, this is the brother Kazakba and Yahweh. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine, okay, of bread, nor of thirst, okay, for water, all right, but of hearing the words of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai, and as they, all right, transition into this new world order, expect heavy censorship, okay, from the internet, okay, because one of the things they want to do is they want to get back hold of the narrative because they've lost the narrative. There's so many alternative narratives and okay, so much truth coming out, so much exposure coming out, okay, and they want to put the cat back in the bag, okay, but it's too late. Let scripture say the word has accomplished. Okay, the word is accomplishing everything that the Lord wants it to accomplish. Okay, and so we have to be mindful. This as teachers, let's take advantage of this time. Okay, and don't even worry about the views, man, because I said they shadow banning brothers hard. So don't even worry about the views. Like just push, like because only two views that matter. All right, the Heavenly Father and Yahweh Shai, He know everything we've done, and we're doing it in sincerity. To teach and to edify. We're not here to be seen anyway. So hey, it's the same few brothers, few sisters that watch. Hey, may you be edified. May we all be on point. Know what's going on. And they ride this thing out to salvation. You see, it is what it is. Okay, so read on verse 12. Okay, it says Amos 8 and 12. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Al Shai shall not find it. See, that's why this word is going to be in us. Okay, this word going to be in us, man. All right, and people that's been BSing, our people that's been playing, okay, they're gonna be through. They're not gonna have this word in them, okay, and they just gonna be through out here. All right, because Jake is a procrastinator. All right, last minute, and it's gonna be over with. They're just gonna be stuck with the narrative of Esau. Okay, they're gonna be stuck trusting in Egypt, man, because they haven't built up faith. Okay, they haven't built up trust in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai during this grace period, because that's a major part of this word going out is for our trust to be built up. Okay, during this grace period. So when these things are shut off, we're still connected to the source. You see, hey, we're gonna be wireless. You see, our faith gonna be wireless in that day. You see, we're gonna be synced with our power, man. Okay, so let's go here. Yep, this the brother. GMS prayer always hope for elect. All right, Romans 13, 11, and 12. It says, and then knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay, our salvation is nearer than when we believe, man. You know, because it's not going to take much for this devil to, start to make drastic changes in this system, man. Cause certain events to happen, and, because one day we're going to be able to teach and one day we not. Okay, one day, we're going to wake up like our normal morning, have the coffee, tea, and go to YouTube, and it's this goddamn big long message, and do this and do that, report to you, your local this and get this, and you need this. Okay, they don't take nothing but a few seconds to make that announcement, man. Okay, so these things are nearer than when we believe. The stage is set. So this is time to wake out of sleep. Okay, I say you out there and you just hearing this message and you still trusting this system and you're arguing and you caught up in celebrity gossip and oh man, you sleep. You see, it's time to wake out of sleep, man, and tap back into our power. Okay, it said the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Well, let's therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light, man. Okay, because this night, all right, this dark age is coming to an end. All right, and the day of Yahweh Shai is at hand. Okay, so as we see this time approaching, we see that we're in a great transition of power. Okay, we should be fully, tapped into our power, leaned into our power. Being about, the Father's business, man. And really investing into the kingdom to come, because this place is done. Our kingdom is getting ready to begin. You see, we finna live, man. All right, this ain't it. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's play this. I got this I want to play. All right, and this going into the distractions. All right, the distraction files. Okay, so let's play this. Okay, he's going to touch on some things I was saying earlier. Okay, so let's play this.
But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. This is an important video because while the government is leading you down government-created rabbit holes, there's always bigger stories behind the big story that's in everybody's face. And of course, the big story that everybody continues to talk about is the story of Jeffrey Epstein and what are in these files that the government supposedly has a hold of, that they've continued to tease you about for years and years, and the people continue to want answers. And the government's finally going to give you those answers. And for whatever reason, people believe what the government's going to tell them is the truth. That's the craziest part about it. Is Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile? No doubt about it. Was Jeffrey Epstein into eugenics? No doubt about it. Is Jeffrey Epstein buddies with all people in politics, all people in Hollywood? Were they all practicing the process of eugenics and transhumanism and breeding children? This is what Satanists and covens do. And the answer to that is yes, he was. But if you believe for 1 second what the government is going to tell you in regards to Jeffrey Epstein is true, then I guess you just pick and choose what you believe according to what you want to believe, because the government will never give you actual data and actual information. So now the big story out there is that they've signed a bill that's going to give information about Jeffrey Epstein. And let me guess, there's going to be Democrats and Republicans, very prominent names that have email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein and meeting at his Zorro Ranch or on Epstein Island. Meanwhile, when nobody's paying attention to, that's right out in the open that nobody seems to understand, is what Donald Trump is doing in regards to AI regulation. And that's the most important thing. Why is it the most important thing? Because the New World Order is built on AI governance. It is an enslavement system run through artificial intelligence. And while they continue to divide people via the left and the right, eventually people will become sick of the left and the right when they find out that people on the supposed list are people in their party who they support. And suddenly they might say, we can't trust any of these people. Maybe we need to go with artificial intelligence and technology. And then they'll be right where all of these people wanted them to be from the get-go, which is, again, problem, reaction, solution, which is the bringing in of AI governance. So again, I am not trying to discredit the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's a pedophile. What I'm saying is that what they're going to tell you is stuff that they want to tell you. They want to distract you, and they want you to be all fired up about the names that you hear, because there's going to be names of people that you cannot stand, and they expect Republicans to ignore the names of the Republicans on the list and point fingers at the Democrats on the list, and vice versa. And this will help bring in the destruction of the infrastructure, which is what this is all about. Donald Trump, over the last 48 hours and since day one in being in Congress, has been bringing in AI governance, which is what the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, and all of these New World Order organizations, these globalist organizations, have wanted from the get-go. This is what Trump is tweeting out. And if you listen to the stuff in between the lines, you can see how he's playing into stuff with woke AI, and we better get a grip on AI before the Democrats get their hand on AI and train the AI to be woke. He's clearing the barriers for AI infrastructure. These are his two quotes. Let me read it to you. Investment in AI is helping to make the U.S. economy the hottest in the world, but over-regulation by the states is threatening to undermine this growth engine. Some states are even trying to embed DEI ideology into AI models, producing woke AI. Remember Black George Washington? We must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. We can do this in a way that protects children and prevents censorship. He tweeted about this multiple times, how the United States of America needs federal regulation, not state-run. Why? Because what we're seeing is finally a pushback against these data centers that Trump is funding with people like Larry Ellison of Oracle and Sam Altman and Bill Gates and all of these demonic people in Silicon Valley who are doing the bidding of DARPA. They are building out these data centers. If you don't understand what the data centers are, I've broken it down many times. These data centers are to save, record, and have on record every single thing that is ever done on the computer and every single thing that is ever recorded with a camera. Whether it's a camera that you hold in your hand and you're filming something at the beach, it's going into the data center. Or if it's a camera inside of Walmart that's filming the same location, the same spot without moving for 24 hours, it's going into the data center. It is the surveillance state. That's what these data centers are being built out for. And that's why on day one, Trump passed a bill for billions of dollars, $500 billion to be exact, to go into building out these data centers. And right now what's happening is that people on the left and the right are actually pushing back against both digital IDs and these data centers. So what Trump wants to do is take away the power at the state level, because what's happening is these data centers are rolling into states. Specific states, all states. Okay, so let's use one for example. It's rolling into Alabama. And what's happening in Alabama? Well, in Alabama, people are pushing back because their electricity bills are going up, and they're hearing about how much water is going to be used for these data centers. And they're saying to themselves, well, you know what? We have droughts sometimes. There's droughts here. We don't need to be giving 500,000 gallons a day to these AI data centers when we don't know what they're actually doing. So the pushback is causing Donald Trump and all of his buddies in big tech to come out and say, let's get this off of the state level. We don't need state legislature where it's left or right to have disagreements with data centers, because the entire New World Order has to run on these data centers. So this can't be a left-right issue. Everything else can be. Everything from, can gays get married? Should people be allowed to murder their babies and have abortions? Those are issues they want on a state level because they want to divide you into specific red and blue states. But the whole infrastructure is going to be run on AI. Does that make sense? So all the times that I've talked about how there's going to be red states and blue states, and they're going to appeal to you, right? Some states won't mandate vaccines, especially when they do more fake outbreaks. And nobody will want to go through that again. And they'll say, look, come down to Florida. You don't have to get vaccinated. In fact, you don't have to vaccinate your kids down here. And then in states like New York will say, you have to vaccinate your kids the day they're born, or the state will take custody of your children. People say, I'm getting out of New York. And suddenly they're hurting people based on their ideologies. And we have blue and red states. Come to this state if you want an abortion. If you go.
And all of these things are being done, intentionally. All these things are being done intentionally to where, like he said, they don't mind you arguing about abortions or The bathrooms, the unisex bathrooms and the sports, the transformers playing in women's sports. They don't mind you arguing about those things on the state level because it keeps you divided. And like he says, people are being herded to these different states based on ideology because it is different. You stay in the Republican state and you stay in the liberal state. It is a difference. It's a different atmosphere. Both of them are wicked. Both of them are off. Okay, but you can tell there's two different ideologies. Okay, that create the environment of both states. Okay, about the two different states. But at the end of the day, it's just a way for them to herd people by ideology, and create, this constant division while everything on the federal level, okay, now it's like, look, y'all can argue about all these other things, but when it comes to AI, what they want to do, what they really want to push, and they don't want no hindrance, okay? They don't want no hindrance on this AI. They don't want no barriers with AI with these states. Now, look, we gonna handle the AI infrastructure. We got it, okay? So that's why these states are not gonna have the ability, all right, to set regulations for AI. Okay, right? Under Trump, AI is having free course. Okay, under Trump, AI will have absolutely free course, man. Okay.
To this state, you're not allowed to get an abortion. People say, well, there's no women's rights there, even though the right to murder a baby is not a woman's right. And so, it's an insane notion. But nonetheless, people are in such a psychosis, they think that. So they'll leave the red state to go to the blue state because they'll feel like they have more freedoms in those states. But that's all being done by design by your government. The infrastructure itself is going to be run on artificial intelligence. So they cannot have this be a state debate. They cannot have states that are red or blue pushing back against the data centers because it's the infrastructure. So they need all the states to have this in place, and that no states can push back against it. That all these states have to have these data centers. You can't go and meet and complain to the city council. You can't go and meet with your state governors and your state mayor, whoever it is. You can't go and protest. You're not allowed to do any of it because the federal government is saying, look, this is the new infrastructure. It's run through AI. You can complain all you want, but you can't go to, you can't go vote on it if you want it in your town or not. You can't go vote on it if you want it in your state or not. It's coming regardless. And what we're seeing, again, is one of the common themes, which there aren't many between the left and right, is that there's pushback on this, whether it's people who are sick of the electricity bills that they're starting to see go up, whether it's people who are environmentalists who are concerned about water and about how much electricity is going to be used and how we're going to be the ones who ration electricity, because both the left and right are starting to see, hey, these things need a lot of electricity. So one side saying it's bad for the environment, the other side saying, the conservatives, hey, what's bad about this is that they might make us ration electricity and bring in carbon laws, right? So it's a common, rare occurrence that we're seeing right now where both sides of the aisle are actually pushing back against big tech and AI infrastructure. So Donald Trump is coming out and saying, we need now to take away any restrictions. I covered this in the past. Donald Trump has already tried to put things in place that prevent any pushback for AI governance. In Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill, which was approved on May 22nd, 2025, they had imposed a 10-year federal moratorium on states enforcing any laws or regulations which limit, restrict, or otherwise regulate AI model systems or automated decision-making tools in interstate commerce. But what is not in that bill is the state's ability to block these data center build-outs. So what we're starting to see are states getting pushback from citizens who do not want these data centers built in their communities. They don't want these giant factories built. They're hearing all this stuff about electricity. They're hearing all this stuff about water and how much water locally is going to be used to cool down these data centers. So Donald Trump, again, is calling on Congress now to do something about it. And he's urging Congress to pass a bill which would make it impossible for states to block these data centers from being built out. And the tweets that Trump is putting out just plays into how dumbed down our society is, because all he has to do is put stuff like DEI ideology or woke AI or stuff about immigration, and it gets his entire fan base who are under full-on mind control to support whatever he says, because they have heard for 4 years with Biden all this ridiculous crap about DEI and how they're hiring people based on their skin color, not on their ability to do these jobs or to fulfill these roles in office or in, whether it's a pilot on a plane they're hiring because they're black, not because they're a good pilot. And it drove everybody insane. So Trump's playing off of that to tell people, look, we're going to have states that are going to pass, Democrat AI. And we're going to have states that are, if you're a conservative and you're living in New York, guess what? They're going to pass these bills, and then they're going to be teaching AI to distribute all of this DEI propaganda to your kids in school, on the computers, everywhere. And it makes people panic. They go, we got to stop that. We don't want to stay level. We want it on a federal level. And that helps them continue to build out the AI infrastructure. So this is a big thing. Watching Donald Trump in front of our face talk about AI governance and AI infrastructure, and then just tell you, well, it's helping the economy, right? It's helping the economy while the prices of everything else are going up. So it really is only helping the investors and the hedge funds who are invested in, big brother stocks like Palantir or NVIDIA or Nibius or CoreWeave, all of these neo clouds that are going to enslave us and build this grid, right? It's helping them out and the economy from that standpoint, but the rest of America is still trying to buy groceries and they're still paying double the price, right?
Yeah, man. So what we're seeing now, all right, is people starting to push back against the data centers, okay, and Trump is getting ready to take away, all right, the authority from the states, okay, to regulate AI, okay. And when you go here to Chat GPT, I just looked it up. I got a few more precepts after this, but so you go into the Chat GPT and it says there a rise in data center resistance. And it says, yes, there's a noticeable rise in resistance in data centers. Several trends and key drivers, all right, are fueling the pushback. All right, here's a breakdown plus, all right, what it might be going forward. Okay. And it says, what's driving the rise in data center resistance? Environmental and resource concerns. Local communities are increasingly worried about the water usage, especially for cooling data centers and drought-prone areas. Because here it is, you got areas that are already prone to drought. Okay, and this nigga just plop a big, huge ass water-sucking data center in that area. This nigga don't care. Okay, you see, you got to understand, Esau wouldn't care if 4 million people died, okay, for one data center. This is the devil that's running the earth. Okay, he don't care. And you think he don't know that these places are prone to drought? Okay, it says power demand is another big issue. Data centers draw massive amounts of electricity, stressing local grids. Backup power, all right. It says backup power diesel generators, okay, raises air pollution and noise concern in some places. More broadly, environmental activists, all right, question whether data centers truly operate under the green promise. Because here it is, he'll tell you that your carbon footprint, okay, is too much, between, all right, you just breathing, all right, your mouth open too much, and your Toyota Camry, okay, with the with the exhaust pipe. Well, your carbon footprint is too much. But this nigga built a whole data center and put off all this pollution, and that's cool. Okay? Which that whole climate change is a hoax. But even if you just use his theory, he's a hypocrite even when he lies, man. Even with his hoax, he's a hypocrite. Okay? It says organized activism. It says according to Data Center Watch, 64 billion worth of U.S. data center projects have been delayed or blocked due to local opposition. So that it's a resistance, man. Which goes into that in Job, every hand of the wicked shall be upon him when he's about to fill his belly. That wicked goes into the worker, the laborer. Okay. When you go into that, if a brother can post it, every hand of the wicked when he's about to fill his belly. I think that's in Job. It says there are at least 141 activist groups in 24 U.S. states opposing data center construction. Some communities, all right, have succeeded in putting zoning restrictions or moratoriums in place. All right, it's not just a U.S. phenomenon in Europe. All right, it says it's not just a U.S. phenomenon. Okay, so it's global. You see, there's a global pushback. It says in Europe, example, Germany, Ireland, UK, and Latin America, communities are pushing back against data center, all right, expansion. Environmental groups argue that the data center growth conflicts with climate goals, especially when powered by fossil fuel-based electricity. Academic work is highlighting local social environment impacts such as water stress, noise, all right, inequitable distribution of burdens. Studies also quantify the carbon footprint of data centers, showing significant emissions, especially when powered by non-renewables. Okay, so yeah, man, you have a big pushback now, man. You know, they saying that the noise is unbearable. All those fans going, then that traffic. With the construction. Crews and all those materials being brought in. Okay, and it's just a pushback now. So this devil, this cruel Lord Trump is saying, well, look, we gonna take the power away from the states. Okay, to where it ain't gonna be no all right pushback. All right, they're not gonna have any power to push back. Okay, for the government to do what he wants. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, and we'll get this. So let's go here. Yep. This is the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh, Joel 20:22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, okay, he shall be in straits. So is this devil is right here, because these data centers play a vital part of his AI infrastructure, which will be, all right, a part of what? This MOTB system, this MOTB infrastructure. The data centers, the AI, it's all a part of MOTB infrastructure. Okay, so he needs these data centers, okay, to be able to compute, okay, and have his AI be efficient, okay, with all this information that's going to be coming from, all right, these chips, okay, and it says, Job, it says, in every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, and that wicked, when you go into the Hebrew, it's Ahmad, all right, which goes into the worker or a laborer, okay, and you see what there's a resistance, okay, what this devil is doing, okay, mainly with these data centers, man, okay. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall, verse 20, verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain upon him while he is eating, man. So in the midst of this man, okay, setting up his new world order, in the midst of him trying to enjoy, okay, his new world order, the Most High is going to rain fury upon him, man. He's going to cause these nations to go to war, and he's going to send Yahweh shot back, man. Okay, because this devil has to be stopped. Okay, and this devil, in his quest to be the Most High, okay, he's just on the path of destruction, man. That's why unless the Lord intervenes, no flesh should be saved. Okay, it's the brother Kazak Bon Yahweh, Revelation 11:18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged. All right, so we're at the time now where these nations, okay, have drunken down, the cup of Babylon. All right, and they become mad. Okay, as scripture say, Babylon had been the golden cup in the hand of the Lord. So these nations have drunken down, All right, this doctrine, this new world order philosophy. Okay, and Esau just had them all over the place, man. But see, now it's time for judgment. The Lord finna get ready to judge, man. You Edomites and the rest of you heathens, man. All right, which are the dead. Okay, and that thou shouldest give reward. Okay, until thy servants, okay, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great. Yeah, so beginning with the first fruit, the prophets, all right, and the rest of the men, women, and children, okay, are the 1/3. You see, the Lord Yahushua is coming back to wage war and to reward, his faithful servants, man. Okay, and it says small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth, man. All right, and that's this devil Esau Edom. Okay, this man's rulership has done nothing but destroy the earth. Okay, let's get this. It's the brother Yahushua will and Yahweh's will and testament. All right, and it says Job 5:13 says he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. This devil thinks he's so goddamn clever and smart in the head, but the Lord has this man dismantling his own empire. Okay, with the mindset that he's gonna establish something new. So the Lord has Esau working, all right, against his own okay interest, man, thinking that he's working in his own interest. Okay, so nah, man, the Lord got this devil mapped out, man. Esau ain't doing nothing cute. He's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. All right, before he's removed from power. All right, this is Micah 2:1. This is 144 almost home. It's in the AMP. It says, "Woe, judgment is coming to those who devise wickedness and plot evil on their beds. When morning comes, they practice evil because it is in the power of their hands." Okay, and these devils have the power, to create these laws and regulations, and or to deregulate. Okay, they control, all these different industries and entities. All right, to where they're just able to come in, okay, and start implementing these things. They can just start up a big data center. Okay, he ain't got to ask nobody. All right, he just start building. And it's always been how this devil get down, man. It's always been how this devil get down, even when it come to colonization. He just come to this nigga get in the boat, go across the world, okay, go to war with the people that he find there, and just start building colonies, man. You know, that's how the devil operates, because if it's in his power to do it, he gonna do it. Okay, he don't care about integrity, honor, honesty, none of that. If it's in the power of his hand, he gonna do it. Okay. So now, but there's a judgment coming to him for that, man. All right. So let's go here and we're in here. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 34 in the AMP. It says, "But be on guard so that your hearts are not weighed down and depressed, all right, with the giddiness of debauchery, debauchery, okay, and the nausea of self-indulgence, okay, and the worldly worries of life, all right." And then it says, "And then that day when the Messiah, all right, Yahweh Shai returns, okay, will not come on you suddenly like a trap." Okay, because this devil prepare for more distractions, man. There's no telling what type of news he's going to allow to come out. All right, and he does it for a shock factor, to keep people distracted, divided, and arguing, and debating about things that don't matter. Okay, while this devil rolls out technocracy, man, which is a digital prison of complete control. Okay, through technology. Verse 35 said, "For it will come upon all those who live on the face of all the earth," but showing you that it's going to be global. "But keep alert at all times, be attentive and ready, praying that you may have the strength and ability to be found worthy and to escape all these things that are going to take place, and to stand in the presence of the Son of Man at his coming." So we want to be attentive and alert, watch as well as pray, as the scriptures say, as we come into these times, man, just being on point, knowing what's happening, built up in faith and understanding, humility, and true charity amongst, the body, you know. So with these times approach, man, we're being built to endure, okay, the uncomfortable, okay, to stand before, all right, Yahweh Shai, okay. So, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified, once again. I'm gonna give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful Lake Shalom.